So far, we visited the Canadian provinces of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and now we arrive in one of my favourite places in all of Canada, the stunning province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And our destination today is Gros Morne National Park, one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So, it's into the Zodiacs and off the ship, travelling from our berth in Bonne Bay to Woody Point in the heart of Gros Morne National Park. At Woody Point, we're welcomed ashore by a delegation from the community before hiking up to the excellent Interpretation Centre. How do I get up to the Interpretive Centre? I know there's a couple of different trails, right?
There's one trail you can go up this road right there behind it and go. Then when you get up, you go up that way to the Heritage Theatre. And you go up the road by the Heritage Theatre towards the school. Then you go across to the ball field, and the trail leads there by the ball field.
Okay, I'm getting a little lost with this Newfie accent, which has strong Irish influences in it. I might be looking for the signpost to get me through this trek on my own.
And then turns up over there, up and you pick up Trip River Road and walk up to Discovery Centre that way.
Awesome. Now, is that a classic Newfie accent that you've got going on here?
That's as good as I can do.
It's fantastic. Thanks, man.
That's from a true breed Newfie.
Well done. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
From there, various guided walks take us into the World Heritage listed tablelands and to the lookout for a view over much of the park, a spectacular experience. Well, it's a steady hike up the hill, but the views are well worth it. Now, the guys tell me this is the easy hike. The hard one goes straight up over the top. I couldn't quite imagine it, but look at the spectacular views from up here. This is just something special. There was one thing that struck me as we started walking up. That was, what about bears? They said, don't worry about the bears. It's the moose you worry about. It's a boreal wetland landscape featuring dramatic rock ridges, pitcher plants, and white-throated sparrows, and perhaps even a moose. They can all be encountered here as we explore the park. In amongst little patches, you'll find these beautiful little moors. Effectively, they're just like swamps. This stuff growing in amongst it is sphagnum moss. Now, sphagnum moss is known to grow in areas where there's not a lot of nutrients, and it's quite capable of taking nutrient from the atmosphere, but this plant right next to it is very, very special. This is the Newfoundland pitcher plant. It's actually the emblem of the province. And these plants are carnivorous. They actually capture insects inside each of the modified leaves, those pitchers, and dissolve them down to provide them with the nutrients they need so that they can get growing nice and well and strong in this kind of environment. It's a really remarkable plant and one of the highlights on your journey when you go hiking. The walk is pretty comfortable, allowing you to soak up the pristine environment around you. It's kind of therapeutic in a way. This part of Canada is so beautiful. Speaking of directions, now I'm watching the signs carefully. I certainly won't be headed in the bear direction, that's for sure. Look at these trees. These are one of the more remarkable stories you'll find in the landscape here. Now, certain parts of Canada, they're stunted and dwarfed like this because the ground beneath is frozen, permafrost, and the roots just can't grow very deep, so they tend to spread across the top. Up here, they're actually sitting on this ancient rock, so there's not a lot of room to go with, and during the winter, the weather is so harsh. These white spruce, some of them could be well over 300 or 400 years old, but only a couple of metres in height. They really are incredible. When you start to look around and walk through this forest, it's a very special experience. As you take the various trails and hike through the landscape, you'll see all sorts of differing landscape features. This is like being on Mars. This particular section is absolutely spectacular, and being a West Australian, one of the things that we're very proud of is the Pilbara region, where the stone there was said to be the oldest on the planet. Well, that was until recently, when scientists realised that this stone here in Newfoundland is actually the oldest rock, pushed right up from the centre of the Earth and jutting out into the open. It's totally exposed, and it is the oldest stone on the planet. It's a really unusual landscape and a feature as you're walking the trails. Every destination you visit has you departing the ship on Zodiacs to access the destination. It's an adventure in itself, and they allow you to see the wildlife or landscape close up from the water. Once on board, we'll head to the bridge and top deck as the ship starts to cruise to our next destination.